Today we're going to be talking about deciding which CPA exam to take and what order to take the CPA exam in. So you finally decided that you're going to pursue your CPA certification and take the CPA exam, and now you're wondering which exam to take first. Well, you're in the right spot. Hey there, and welcome to Taxes with a CPA. I'm Adrina, a certified public accountant with over 10 years of Big Four and public accounting experience. Whether you're studying for your CPA exam, climbing the corporate ladder, or building your business, this channel is your go-to for real-world advice, expert strategies, and proven tips for success. Let's get into it. Before taking the CPA exam, you need to know the different parts of the exam. Now, the CPA exam entails FAR, regulations, audit, and BEC, which has recently been changed to 3 parts. That has been evenly distributed to the other parts of the exam, but 3 additional parts got added, and they are BAR, ISC, and TCP. So knowing the different parts of the CPA exam and the content of each exam, that will be your first step. Next, you need to understand the structure of the CPA exam. So just like some standardized testing, the structure of the CPA exam is going to vary from what you've been taught in school. So it's very important that you have seen and practiced with the CPA exam interface prior to registering and taking your exam. A great resource to seek when you're trying to figure out what the structure of the actual exam looks like is the AICPA website. So on the AICPA website, they have practice tests from prior exams, so you can see the actual question type that are going to be asked in the exam and the structure of the exam. So the exam is composed of multiple choice questions as well as a simulation. And if you don't know yet, each portion, so the multiple choice questions and the simulations combined make up 100% of the exam. So it's 50% multiple choice and 50% simulation. So when studying for the exam, you need to make sure you aren't just doing a bunch of multiple choice questions, you're also practicing those simulations under a timed environment and with the right interface, so that when you do go to your exam day, you're prepared and you feel confident that you're going to be able to pass the exam. Now, also along that lines is deciding which part of the exam to take is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. So for example, for me personally, I decided to take the FAR exam first because I have a very strong accounting background, and I knew that I wanted to knock out the hardest part of the exam first, so that way it would give me a boost of confidence for the remaining parts of the exam. I fortunately got to take BEC. Whether that's unfortunate or not, it depends on who you're asking. And if you know, after 2023, new candidates, so if you're watching this video, you're most likely going to be taking the new version of the BEC exam, which should be BAR, ISC, and TCP. So these might be things you're considering when deciding which version of the CPA exam to take. Also, I do have a couple of colleagues who opted to take the audit exam first because they're going to be auditors, and quite frankly, their brain works differently for the audit exam versus the FAR exam. So it just really depends on your strengths. Now, when I talk about weaknesses in the sense of your study habits. If you know that you have audit busy season coming up or tax busy season coming up, maybe taking the regulations exam or the audit exam during busy season might not be the best time. So you might want to wait to take those exams until after busy season, so that way you aren't burning out 80-hour work days and then coming home and having to study for the same thing that you just did at work. And so again, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, and then understanding the components of each exam to see what your preferences are can really help you. And if you're like, Adrina, I just don't care, I don't have a preference, I just want to take this thing and pass, then I'll say take the FAR exam first, just because, again, like I said, taking the hardest exam, once you pass it, in my humble opinion, once you pass the FAR exam, I believe that it will add that boost of confidence that you need to power through the rest of the exams, knowing that if I got this one out the way, the rest are going to be a cakewalk. Not to say you don't have to study hard for those, but cakewalk compared to the FAR exam. And then next, time management and planning. This is a big part of studying for the CPA exam. I believe that the CPA exam is grit, gumption, and time management. Do you have the time management and the consistency, the discipline to say, hey, I'm gonna make sure that I study 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, no breaks? Or are you someone who can say, you know what, Adriana, I know myself, I can only allocate an hour or two to study for the exam every day, maybe two to three times a week. You have to be honest with yourself, and that's where time management combined with planning will really help to make sure that, because you don't want to set goals that you cannot obtain. And also you don't want to set a goal to say, hey, I want to pass all my CPA exam by the end of this year, but you haven't even started studying for any exam. And then, so now you're just taking the exam just to say you took the exam. You want to make sure that when you step into the testing center to take your exam, you are prepared, because you spent your time, you spent your money, and you spent your resources getting to this point, and you want to make sure that you make it count. And on that line is taking practice tests. Practice tests, I can't even stress it enough. I know they're scary, I know they're daunting. For me personally, when I took my first practice test, I don't even know what I scored, but I just know it was enough to make me go, yeah, I need to study, right? So practice tests really help you to see and visualize, hey, can I even sit and take this 4.5-hour test? Do I have that ability to keep still? Right. I know in college we all had those final exams where maybe it was an hour, 2 to 3 hours, but you're talking about the CPA exam where you have to sit and stare at a computer for hours on end. Can you even do that? And 2, the time it takes to sit and test for that exam. Do you know how to work good with your resources? Are you good under pressure? Are you good with the time? Right? So all of these things, taking a practice test will really help you to understand where you fall along that line, and then you can now make a study plan to make sure that you are tackling those issues that you have, so come exam day, you are ready and prepared to take and pass your exam. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, look out for my next video. It's going to be on how to study for the CPA exam. I'm going to bring you real world tips that you can use to make sure that on exam day, you pass your exam. I'm going to link it somewhere on the screen, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.